2.
You're too funny. Okay, so we are now working on the 3-minute books for Spirit Auto Center. Show the team. Okay, good. So what I want to do is I want to focus on the second section of the 3-minute book, which is the pay plan for the coordinators. Okay, first and foremost, what I recommend, team, is this, is that the end of the month, so we're in March 2014 right now, we're in the beginning of March. However, I want you to think about how much you want to make in April, the entire month of April. So the reason why I want to put this on video is because we're going to go a little bit farther, a little bit deeper than I was even planning to just verbally go through. So step 1 is you want to identify what are your expenses. I do this with salespeople. This is actually the right way to do this. So, and I don't know if anybody's ever given you financial coaching before, but what you want to do is you want to write down your expenses. And there's different categories of expenses, team. Expenses are going to be fixed. Okay, so fixed expenses could be your rent, your insurance, your car payment. It could be your, I don't know, your light bills, your electricity, your daycare, whatever. Those are what's called fixed expenses. Your next expenses are going to be situational expenses. Situational could be child support, could be alimony. It could be, you know, if you have got a medical condition and you need certain medicines, what have you. So they're situational expenses. Identify them. Okay, the next category after situational is going to be incidental. Incidental expenses are going to be things such as, you know, like food. I don't know if you have your own internal laundry mechanism, but if you got to go to the laundromat, it's laundry, it's gas, it's tolls. They're incidentals. And then there's going to be living expenses. Living expenses, having cash in your pocket, petty cash. You're going to be able to, you know, entertainment, recreation, popping bottles at the club, whatever. You know what I mean? Because I know a lot of you got swag up in this room. I hear you. So, you know, it depends. And then the last part is investment expenses, such as if you want to not be part of the rat race, you want to start putting money into a 401k, an IRA, a Roth IRA, into a real estate property or some type of other asset you want to develop so you could have financial freedom sometime in your life. Now, just poll the audience real quick. Has anybody broken down their monthly expenses at this level yet?
Yeah.
Okay, so you have in those categories?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Yes.
But utilities, yes? Slightly. Okay, good. So back on here. So that is a great first step. So then what you need to be able to do is understand what the number is. Give me a number. What are your true expenses, fixed, situational, incidental, living, and investment? Give me a number. See, that's a problem. See, if you have to think about it, that's a problem. Okay, what about you?
I have my fixed is my rent, my car insurance, my car payment, and my utilities. The situational, which is, sorry, actually that.
Anybody got the number off the top of their head?
Mine's like 3,200.
It's 3,200. Okay, so here's the thing though. Now we have a problem. See, it's called financial reality. Okay, 3,200. If your number's 3,200, do you know how much money you need to make to clear $3,200? How much do you think you need to make at any job?
Annually or weekly?
No, monthly.
Or monthly.
If you need $3,200 a month, how much do you think you're going to need to make to clear $3,200?
45.
Yeah, that's about right. Okay, so hence Houston, we have a problem. If you're working as a coordinator, you're never going to be able to hit your financial objectives just by doing this. You're not going to make $4,500 a month at a Chrysler Dodge Jeep dealership as an appointment setter. Do you see what I'm saying? So this exercise is very, very powerful. You need to identify reality. Okay, and again, you might have to compromise some of your investment money. You might have to compromise maybe even some of your living expense, living fund money or something like that. And that's why I break it down, not to what your number is. How do you get to that number? You have to break it down: fixed, situational, incidental, living, and then investment money. Does that make sense to everybody?
Mm-hmm.
This is a really good gauge, and this number you should obsess about. You should constantly be focused. Most people don't even know what their number is. You've got to know your number like that. What is that Sealy mattress number? Like the mattress number or whatever?
Sleep.
The sleep number, right? That's how you got to think. Like, they make whole commercials about the Sleep Number mattress. What is your financial number where you're happy, you're content, you're proud, you're excited. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's the first step to getting the second section of the 3-minute book, rocking, is understanding what your number is. So let's just call it, realistically here, I think that you could ascertain, between $300 and $3,500 this job. Brand new getting into this, $3,000 is a good goal. So if the number is $3,000, that's the next step. First step is to identify your number, and you have to break down the ways to get to that number. That's step one, is figure out what your number is. Second step is to write that number down. The third step is we're going to back into that number. How do we do that? Well, based on the grid that we've been talking about, there's certain variables that you need to know. First of all, we're going to only do this model on the pro pay plan. I'm not even going to allow complacency or mediocrity. So I need a calculator. Somebody, she's got mine. It's all right. So, okay, really, you got me
What?
with the bedazzled
That's
purple
cute.
calculator.
That's my favorite calculator.
Okay, I understand, but I'm Sean V. Bradley, and I'm on a bedazzled calculator.
Pretend it was black. All right.
Okay, orange.
All right. All right.
All right. So now, what we're going to do is this: we're going to only map out the pay plan on the pro pay plan, because I am not going to. If you want to figure out how to be mediocre, I'm not going to allow that. I'm going to show you how to be extraordinary. Okay. So basically, when you look into next month in April, how many days in April?
30.
Okay, it's 30, which means how many working days? If you work 5 working days, etc.
20.
20. So there you go. So now, check this out. If you turn on and you do $450 a week, so you're at 450 times 4 equals $1,800. So you are at $1,800 just for showing up to work. So you got to turn on and take the $1,800 away from, what's the goal? Let's just put it 3,000. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Equals what?
12.
There's only $1,200. So you need to be able to figure out, how are you going to earn $1,200 in commissions? Does that make sense to everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Step 1 is figuring out what your number is by breaking it down to those different categories. Step 2 is writing it down. Step 3 is beginning with the end result in mind. How do you do that? You start with what your fixed number is. You start with your salary. Long as you come into work and you have a positive attitude and you're on that pro pay plan, you get $450 a week. All my other coordinators, don't start sending me hate mail. That's the pro pay plan. It's not the regular pay plan. This is for them being professionals, above and beyond. $450 a week times 4 weeks, that's $1,800. So that means you only need to achieve $1,200 in commissions to hit your objective of just $3,000. Now, obviously, you would modify the numbers if you want the 3,500 or 3,800, but that's between you and your situation, whatever your number is. So now let's back into the 1,200. How are we going to get $1,200? Well, we know the commission structure at your pro pay plan is $1, $20, and $30. So let's play this out. Let's just go through 20 units delivered. You need to have, let's just say, 40 bodies show up. To do that, you need to make 80 appointments. So if you go to your calculator, if you do 30 times 20, that equals 600. If you do 40 times 20, that's 800 plus 80. So you do now, that brings us up to 1480, am I correct? Okay, so did we hit our goal? We exceeded our goal, and that's a simple number right there. It's 20, 40, 80. So we're at 1480. So basically 1480 plus 1800 is 3280. Now, here's just my advice, and this is very important. Pack your numbers. That's a car guy, car girl term. If you need $3,000, don't do your model on $3,000. Do you understand? Because if you do your model on $3,000, what can happen? You might not hit it, and then you're screwed. You're depressed because you didn't hit your objectives. You didn't get the stuff that you needed to get. You didn't buy the stuff you needed to buy. So what you want to do is over a lot. And then I'm also trying to keep this simple. I could have, the proper number would probably have been maybe 18 cars, and it would have been 36 or something like that. I don't want to do that. I want to keep it round and simple. So let's just call it, if we all agree that if you're responsible for 20 cars sold, and to do that you have to get 40 bodies to show up. To get 40 bodies to show up, you need to make 80 appointments. You're going to make $3,200 that month. $3,280 specifically. Do you see how that works? Now watch this. This is only half of this. I told you what you need to do to hit your financial objectives, but I didn't show you how you're going to do it. So in essence, if you do it this way, it's 80 appointments. Am I right or wrong? So basically, to hit over $3,000 in a month, you need to make 80 appointments in a month. Okay, so if you make 80 appointments divided by 4 weeks is what? 20 appointments per week, right? Divided by 5 working days in a week is what? 4. So here's how you set your goal now. Your bare minimum is 4 appointments a day. If you don't make at least 4 appointments in a day, you're screwed. What I would say is that you set your goal for 6 appointments a day. Do you see that? But you take no less than 4. I mean, you get really emotionally upset with yourselves if you don't get at least your 4 appointments a day. But do you see how I backwards modeled into the math? Now I've given you a complete snapshot on how you're going to make your money. It is all up to you. So now, if you want to make $4,000 in a month, just do the math. You know, you'll probably need to sell 25 cars and have 50 bodies show up or whatever. And that means you got to do what you need to do to get that extra, push. Any questions? Stop the tape.